Story 1. I spent 22 years in the Army. 2 deployments to Afghanistan, 1 to Iraq. I came home from my last tour missing my left leg below the knee and with enough shrapnel in my back to set off metal detectors from 10 feet away. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you this so you understand why I have a disabled veteran placard hanging from my rearview mirror and why I need those special parking spots. After I got out, I went through about 3 years of feeling sorry for myself. Physical therapy, learning to walk again with a prosthetic, dealing with the nightmares. My wife stuck with me through all of it, bless her. Eventually, I got my head on straight and started volunteering at the VA hospital, helping other guys going through what I went through. That's actually how I met my buddy who runs a towing company. He's a veteran too. Lost his arm in Fallujah back in 2004. We bonded over our shared experiences and our shared hatred of people who take advantage of the system. Every Tuesday I drive to the VA for my physical therapy appointment. The parking lot has 3 spots right up front marked reserved for disabled veterans. Big signs, bright blue paint, impossible to miss. Most people respect them. Most people. Last Tuesday, I pulled into the lot about 10 minutes early. One of the 3 spots was open, and I was heading toward it when I noticed something in my peripheral vision. A white BMW came flying around the corner of the lot going way too fast. Now here's the thing. I had my blinker on. I was clearly waiting for a car to back out of the spot next to the open one. Any reasonable person would see that I was about to take that spot. But this woman in the BMW, she saw the open spot, saw me waiting, and gunned it. She whipped into that reserved spot so fast her tires squealed. I just sat there for a second, stunned. Then she got out of her car. No placard, no disabled plates, just a woman in expensive clothes with a designer purse and a smirk on her face. She looked right at me as she locked her car. "Karen, you snooze, you lose." "Me, ma'am, that spot is reserved for disabled veterans." "Karen, I don't see your name on it." "Me, it's not about names. It's about the sign right there that says reserved for disabled veterans." She glanced at the sign like she was noticing it for the first time. Then she shrugged. "Karen, I'll only be 5 minutes. Relax." "Me, I'm a disabled veteran. That's my spot." "Karen, you look fine to me. Stop being so dramatic." I took a deep breath. I've dealt with a lot worse than entitled civilians, but something about her attitude just got under my skin. She started walking toward the building. Now here's where the story gets good. Remember my buddy with the towing company? Every Tuesday his truck sits in this same lot between noon and 2. The VA contracts him to remove illegally parked vehicles. He was parked about 30 feet away, eating his lunch in the cab. I honked my horn twice. That's our signal. My buddy looked up, saw the situation, and started his truck. Karen was maybe 20 feet from the building entrance when she heard the diesel engine rumble. She turned around just in time to see his tow truck backing up to her BMW. "Karen, what are you doing? Stop, that's my car." She came running back, heels clicking on the pavement. My buddy hopped out of his truck with the hook in his hand. He's got this down to a science. 20 years of practice. "My buddy, ma'am, this spot is reserved for disabled veterans. Your vehicle is being towed." "Karen, you can't do that. I said I'd only be 5 minutes." "My buddy, doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds. Spot's reserved." She grabbed at his arm. "Bad idea. He's a big guy, even with one arm." "My buddy, ma'am, I need you to step back." "Karen, I'll call the police." "My buddy, go ahead. They'll tell you the same thing." I had pulled into a regular spot by now and was making my way over with my cane. Karen saw me coming and her face twisted up with anger. "Karen, this is your fault. You called him." "Me, ma'am, I didn't call anyone. He's here every Tuesday. You parked illegally in front of a tow truck driver." My buddy had her car hooked and lifted in under 30 seconds. Like I said, he's got this down to a science. "Karen, where are you taking my car?" I demand to know. "My buddy, impound lot on 5th Street." It'll cost you $250 to get it out, plus $25 for every hour it sits there. Karen, that's robbery. My buddy, that's the law. She stood there sputtering while he climbed back into his truck. Then she turned on me again. Karen, how am I supposed to get to my appointment now? I smiled. I can give you a ride to the impound lot if you want. Her face went through about 6 different emotions in 2 seconds. Anger, confusion, more anger, embarrassment, and finally something that might have been the beginning of shame. Karen, I don't need your help. Suit yourself. It's about a 3-mile walk. She pulled out her phone and started furiously typing, probably calling an Uber. My buddy drove past us with her BMW swinging gently on the hook. He gave me a little wave. I headed into the VA for my appointment. When I came out an hour later, Karen was sitting on a bench near the entrance. She must have missed whatever appointment she'd been in such a hurry for. She saw me coming and looked away. I thought about saying something, about explaining that those spots exist because some of us gave parts of ourselves for this country, about how every step I take hurts and those extra 30 feet matter, about basic human decency and respect. But I didn't. Some people only learn through consequences. I got in my car, pulled out of my regular spot, and drove past her bench on my way out. She didn't look up. My buddy texted me later that night. Apparently she showed up at the impound lot screaming about discrimination and threatening to sue. The guy at the desk just pointed at the security camera footage showing her racing into a clearly marked reserved spot. She paid the $275 in cash and peeled out of their lot so fast she nearly hit a fire hydrant. Some people never learn, but at least they pay for it. Story 2. I've been working at this department store for about 3 years now. It's one of those mid-range places where you can get everything from bed sheets to blenders. Nothing too fancy, but nothing too cheap either. I started here right after I finished community college because I needed something stable while I figured out what I actually wanted to do with my life. Turns out, retail wasn't just a pit stop. I actually grew to like it. Don't get me wrong, the job has its rough days, but I've always been the type to stay calm under pressure. My mom used to joke that I came out of the womb with a neutral expression on my face. Nothing really rattles me. I've dealt with customers who tried to return items they clearly bought somewhere else. I've handled people screaming at me over expired coupons. I once had a guy threaten to call corporate because I asked him to put on shoes. Through it all, I just kept my voice steady and my face relaxed. It's not that I don't feel frustrated sometimes. I just don't see the point in matching someone else's chaos. My manager noticed this about me pretty early on. She started putting me on the registers during peak hours because she knew I could handle whatever walked through those doors. I took it as a compliment. Little did I know that one random Tuesday afternoon would put that skill to the ultimate test. It was around 2 in the afternoon, that weird dead zone between the lunch rush and the after-work crowd. I had maybe 3 customers in my line when she walked in. She was probably in her mid-50s, dressed like she was heading to brunch at a country club. Big sunglasses pushed up on her head, designer bag hanging from her elbow, and this expression on her face like she had just smelled something unpleasant. She got in my line behind an older gentleman who was buying gardening supplies. When it was finally her turn, I smiled and gave my usual greeting. Good afternoon. Did you find everything you were looking for today? She just stared at me. Not in a confused way, but in a way that made it clear she was waiting for something. I waited too, thinking maybe she hadn't heard me. Ma'am, is there something I can help you with? Karen, is that how you greet customers here? I'm sorry. Karen, you didn't bow. I genuinely thought I misheard her. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you need help finding something? Karen, I said you didn't bow. When you greet a customer, you're supposed to bow. It's basic respect. I looked around, half expecting someone to jump out with a camera and tell me I was being pranked. Nobody did. Ma'am, I apologize if my greeting wasn't to your liking, but bowing isn't part of our store policy. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Karen, excuse me? I've shopped at stores all over the world, and employees always bow when they greet me. This is absolutely unacceptable. Her voice was getting louder now. People in the other lines were starting to look over. I kept my voice calm and even. Me, I understand you may have had different experiences elsewhere, but here we greet customers verbally. I'd be happy to help you with your purchases if you'd like to proceed. Karen, no. No, I will not proceed until you show me the proper respect. Bow to me. Me, ma'am, I'm not going to do that. It's not something we do here. Karen, then get me your manager. Right now. I pressed the button to call my manager over. While we waited, she kept going. Karen, this is absolutely ridiculous. I spend thousands of dollars at stores like this, and this is how I'm treated. Like some commoner. You should be grateful I'm even shopping here. I didn't respond. I just stood there with my hands folded on the counter, keeping my face neutral. That seemed to make her even angrier. Karen, say something. Don't just stand there like a robot. Me, I've called my manager. She'll be here shortly. Karen, you think you're so clever, don't you? Standing there with that smug look on your face. I'll have you fired for this. My manager walked up a minute later. She's a small woman, but she has this presence that makes people pay attention. Manager, good afternoon. I'm the store manager. How can I help you today? Karen, this employee refused to bow when he greeted me. I want him fired immediately. My manager blinked. Manager, I'm sorry. Did you say bow? Karen, yes, it's common courtesy. I've traveled extensively, and everywhere I go, employees bow to show respect to their customers. This young man refused, and then he had the audacity to stand there and mock me with his silence. Manager, ma'am, our employees greet customers verbally and offer assistance. Bowing has never been part of our service standards. Karen, then your standards are pathetic. I demand that he apologize and bow to me right now, or I'm calling corporate and having this entire store shut down. Manager, ma'am, I'm afraid that's not going to happen, and I need to ask you to lower your voice. You're disturbing other customers. Karen, disturbing them. I'm disturbing them. How about this employee disturbing me with his complete lack of manners? At this point, a guy in line behind her had his phone out. I noticed it, but didn't say anything. My manager noticed too. Manager, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to either complete your purchase calmly or leave the store. Karen, oh, I'll leave all right. And I'm never coming back. But not before I get this useless employee's name, so I can report him to every review site on the internet. She grabbed my name tag and yanked it toward her, pulling the lanyard tight against my neck. I didn't flinch. I just looked at her. Me, ma'am, please let go. She did, but only because my manager stepped between us. Manager, that's it. You need to leave now. You are no longer welcome in this store. Karen, you can't ban me. I'll sue you. I'll sue this whole company. Manager, security is on the way. I suggest you leave before they arrive. Karen grabbed her bag and stormed toward the exit, but not before turning back to yell one more thing. Karen, you'll regret this. All of you. I know people. Important people. She slammed through the doors and was gone. My manager turned to me. Manager, you okay? Me, yeah. Just another Tuesday. She laughed and shook her head. Manager, I've never seen anything like that. A bow. She wanted you to bow. The guy who had been filming walked up to my register. Customer, hey man, I got that whole thing on video. You were incredibly professional. Mind if I post it? Me, I don't really care either way. Do what you want. He posted it that night. By the next morning, it had over 200,000 views. By the end of the week, it was at 2 million. People were commenting about how calm I stayed, how I didn't react even when she grabbed my name tag. Someone even made a remix of her yelling set to music. Corporate called the store. I thought I was in trouble, but they actually wanted to thank me. They said the video showed their employees in a great light. The woman who caused the scene had apparently tried to call their complaint line, but when they reviewed the footage, they backed the store completely. Her ban was made permanent across all locations in the region. 2 weeks later, my manager called me into her office. She handed me a certificate and a gift card. "Manager, congratulations. You're our employee of the month." Me, for getting yelled at? Manager, for keeping your cool when most people would have lost it. That video probably did more for our reputation than any ad campaign ever could. I hung the certificate in my locker. It's still there. Sometimes customers ask me about it when they recognize me. I just shrug and scan their items. Me, just doing my job. But honestly, every time someone mentions it, I think about how wild it is that a woman lost her shopping privileges at every store in a 50-mile radius because she wanted a bow. All she had to do was act like a normal human being. But some people just can't help themselves. And me? I still don't bow. But I do smile a little more these days. Story 3. I've been a theme park enthusiast my whole life. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me to this same park every summer. We'd wake up at 5 in the morning, drive 3 hours, and be first in line when the gates opened. He passed away about 6 years ago, but I kept up the tradition. Now I go alone, but it still feels like he's with me every time I walk through those gates. This particular day was special. The park had just opened a brand new roller coaster. The thing had been hyped up for over 2 years. Record-breaking drop, fastest launch system in the country, all that stuff. I'd been following the construction updates online like a crazy person. When they announced the opening date, I put in for time off work that same day. I got to the park at 4:30 in the morning. The gates didn't open until 9. I wasn't the first one there, but I was close, maybe 15th in line. By the time the sun came up, there were hundreds of people behind me. Everyone was excited but patient. We talked about other coasters we'd ridden, shared snacks, made friends. That's the thing about enthusiasts. We understand the wait is part of the experience. When the gates finally opened, we all moved together toward the new ride. No pushing, no shoving, just a big mass of excited people walking fast. The line for the coaster wrapped around twice before we even got close to the entrance, but nobody complained. We'd all waited months for this. I was standing in the queue, about 40 people from the front, when I heard her. "Karen, excuse me, coming through, move." I turned around. This woman was pushing her way through the line like she was trying to catch a flight. Elbows out, shoving people aside, not even looking at the faces she was pushing past. Some guy in front of me, "Hey, there's a line. Karen, I have urgent excitement needs. Move." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Urgent excitement needs, like that was a real thing. Like her desire to ride a roller coaster was somehow more important than everyone else's. She got closer. I could see her now. Mid-40s maybe, oversized sunglasses pushed up on her head, acting like she owned the place. "Karen, I've been waiting all year for this ride. Let me through." A teenage girl next to me, "We've all been waiting." "Karen, well, I have a condition." Some dad holding his kid's hand. "What condition?" "Karen, excitement deficiency. It's medical. Look it up." Nobody moved. In fact, something kind of beautiful happened. Everyone in the line, without saying a word to each other, stepped forward and closed the gaps. Shoulders touched shoulders. The line became a wall. Karen tried to push through anyway. She grabbed some guy's arm and tried to shove past him. He didn't budge. "Karen, this is assault. You're all assaulting me." "Me, ma'am, you're the one grabbing people." She looked at me with pure hatred in her eyes. "Karen, mind your own business." "Me, the line is my business. I've been standing in it since 4:30 this morning." "Karen, that's your problem. Some of us have lives." The crowd started murmuring. Not angry murmuring, more like the sound of 40 people collectively losing their patience. Then someone behind us whistled and waved. 2 park security guards were making their way through the crowd. Security guard 1, "Ma'am, We've received multiple complaints about you cutting the line. Karen, I wasn't cutting. These people blocked me. Security guard 2. Ma'am, we watched you push past approximately 40 guests. You need to come with us. Karen, I paid for my ticket just like everyone else. Security guard 1. And everyone else is waiting in line. Please come with us, or we'll have to remove you from the park entirely. Her face went red. She looked around like she expected someone to defend her. Nobody did. Karen, fine. This ride is probably terrible anyway. Security guard 2, let's go, ma'am. As they escorted her away, something amazing happened. The whole crowd started clapping. Not mocking applause, just genuine appreciation that the problem had been solved. A few people cheered. One guy near the front gave a loud whistle. I ended up riding that coaster 3 times that day. It was everything I'd hoped it would be. My dad would have loved it. Story 4. I've been working at this fast food place for about 2 years now. It's nothing fancy, just one of those burger joints you see on every other corner. But it pays the bills and the people I work with are decent. I started here right after high school because college wasn't in the cards for me at the time. My family needed help with rent, and I wasn't about to sit around doing nothing while my mom worked double shifts at the hospital. The job itself isn't hard. You take orders, you make food, you hand it to people, you clean up, rinse and repeat. The hard part is the customers. Most of them are fine, just regular folks who want their burgers and fries and want to get on with their day. But every once in a while, you get someone who makes you question everything you thought you knew about human behavior. That's where this story begins. It was a Saturday afternoon, right in the middle of the lunch rush. The lobby was packed, the drive-through line was wrapped around the building, and we were short 2 people because of call-outs. I was working the front counter, trying to keep up with the flood of orders while my coworkers scrambled in the back. She walked in around 1:30, mid-40s, blonde hair pulled back tight, wearing workout clothes that looked like they'd never seen the inside of a gym. She had that look on her face, the one that tells you trouble is coming before a single word is spoken. She ordered a combo meal, burger, fries, drink. Nothing special. I handed it to her, she paid, and she walked off to a table. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. About 5 minutes later, she marched back up to the counter and slammed her tray down so hard that fries went flying. Karen, these fries are cold. Me, I'm sorry about that. Ma'am, I can get you a fresh batch right now. It'll just take about 3 minutes. Karen, 3 minutes. I've already been waiting. This is ridiculous. Me, I understand, and I apologize for the inconvenience. Fresh fries do take a few minutes to cook, but I'll have them out to you as fast as possible. Karen, no, this is unacceptable. I paid good money for hot fries, and you gave me garbage. I want a refund and a free meal. Me, I can definitely replace the fries for you at no charge. As for a full refund, I'd need to get my manager involved for that. Karen, then get your manager. I called my manager over. He's a calm guy, been in the food service industry for over 15 years. Nothing really phases him anymore. Manager, hi there. I understand there's an issue with your fries. Karen, an issue? That's putting it mildly. Your employee gave me cold, disgusting fries, and now she's refusing to give me a refund. Manager, I apologize for the fries not meeting your expectations. We're happy to replace them with a fresh batch right now. Karen, I don't want a replacement. I want my money back and a free meal for my troubles. Manager, ma'am, I can offer you the replacement fries, but I can't provide a full refund and a free meal for a single order of fries that we're willing to remake. Karen, this is theft. You stole my money and gave me cold food. Manager, we're offering to fix the problem right now. No one is stealing anything. Karen, I'm calling the police. My manager and I exchanged a look. Manager, ma'am, I really don't think that's necessary. Karen, oh, it's necessary. You people need to learn that you can't treat customers like this. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. Right there in the middle of the restaurant. People were staring. A family with 2 little kids at a nearby table looked extremely uncomfortable. Karen, yes. Hello? I need police at the burger place on Main Street. I'm being robbed. They took my money and refused to give me what I paid for. I couldn't hear what the dispatcher said, but whatever it was made her angrier. Karen, what do you mean it's not an emergency? I'm being victimized here. Send someone right now. She hung up and crossed her arms. Karen, they're sending someone. You're all going to regret this. We waited. My manager told me to keep helping other customers, so I did. She stood off to the side, glaring at everyone who walked past her like they were personally responsible for her cold fries. About 20 minutes later, 2 officers walked through the front door. One was a tall guy with a serious expression. The other was a shorter woman who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. Karen, finally, officers, these people stole my money. I paid for hot fries and they gave me cold ones, and now they're refusing to make it right. The tall officer looked at her, then at my manager, then back at her. Officer 1, ma'am, did they offer to replace the fries? Karen, that's not the point. The point is I paid for a product and didn't receive what I paid for. Officer 2, and they offered to fix it. Karen, I shouldn't have to wait for them to fix their mistake. My manager stepped forward. Manager, officers, we offered to remake her fries immediately. She demanded a full refund and a free meal. When I explained that I could only offer the replacement, she called you. The tall officer sighed. It was the kind of sigh that told me this wasn't his first ridiculous call of the day. Officer 1, ma'am, you called 911 because your fries were cold? Karen, I called because I was being robbed. Officer 2, no one robbed you. A business offered to correct an issue with your order. That's not a crime. That's customer service. Karen, but they... Officer 1, what is a crime is misusing emergency services. 911 is for actual emergencies. Someone having a heart attack, a car accident, a break-in, not cold French fries. Karen's face went pale. Karen, you can't be serious. Officer 2, we're very serious. Misuse of 911 ties up resources that could be needed for real emergencies. People could get hurt because dispatchers are dealing with calls like yours. Officer 1, we're issuing you a citation. You'll receive information about the fine in the mail. Karen, a fine? For calling the police? This is insane. I'm the victim here. Officer 2, ma'am, the only victim here is the dispatcher who had to take your call about cold fries. Sign here. She signed the citation, her hand shaking with what I assume was a mixture of rage and embarrassment. The whole restaurant was watching now. Someone in the back was definitely recording on their phone. After she signed, my manager walked up to the officers. Manager, can I offer you both some lunch? On the house. Fresh fries included. He said that last part loud enough for her to hear. The officers smiled. Officer 1, that's very kind of you. We'd appreciate that. My manager turned to me. Manager, 2 combo meals for the officers. Extra fries. Make sure they're hot. Me, you got it. I made their food myself, double-checking that everything was perfect. When I handed it over, both officers thanked me. Officer 2, you handled that really well, by the way. Stayed calm the whole time. Me, just doing my job. They took their food and headed out, nodding politely to the other customers as they left. Karen was still standing there, citation in hand, looking like she didn't know what to do next. My manager walked over to her. Manager, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Karen, you're kicking me out. Manager, you called the police on us over fries. I think it's best if you take your business elsewhere from now on. She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. For once, she had nothing to say. She grabbed her purse and walked out, not looking at anyone. The second the door closed behind her, the whole restaurant seemed to exhale. The guy who'd been recording gave me a thumbs up. The mom at the family table mouthed the words, "Thank you." My manager patted me on the shoulder. "Manager, you handled that like a pro." Me? I just kept thinking about how ridiculous it would sound if I had to explain to someone that I lost my cool over a lady who called the cops on cold fries. He laughed. Manager, fair point. The rest of my shift was uneventful. Just regular customers with regular orders and regular complaints that got resolved without law enforcement involvement. But every time I dropped a fresh batch of fries into a bag after that, I made sure they were hot. Not because I was scared of another incident, but because the look on her face when those officers walked out with free food while she walked out with a fine was something I never wanted to forget. Some people really do think the world revolves around them, and sometimes the world spins right back.